one of the most recognizable characters in both gaming and global media. Tomb Raider itself has been a renowned franchise in the industry since the first game released nearly 2 decades ago. With Rise of the Tomb Raider's PC release around the corner, we thought it would be great to take a look back at the iconic London heiress and marvel at how far she's come. Development on Tomb Raider began in 1993, with Toby Gard, among 6 individuals, being credited for the design of Lara Croft. Starting out first as a male character, Gard changed Croft's gender and key aspects of her personality to avoid comparisons to Indiana Jones and to fashion her as a more refined adventurer. Though Gard did joke about Lara's gender being the prime reason for Tomb Raider being in the third person, her image as a sex symbol and eventually a pioneer for third-person titles took off. After Tomb Raider's release in 1996, Core Design proceeded to pump out a sequel each year. Each title saw greater and greater success, especially Tomb Raider 3, which released in 1998 and had sold 6.5 million copies by 2009. It was the last revelation in 1999, which would ultimately signal a shift for Lara Croft as the game featured her demise. Naturally, Core Design wasn't finished with the franchise, releasing Tomb Raider Chronicles in 2000 to dismal critical reviews, and making plans for the reboot Angel of Darkness. With Angel of Darkness, the developer was looking to create a darker, more violent Tomb Raider to compete with the top-tier action-adventure games at the time. The influences of filmmakers like David Fincher clashed with gameplay elements from Metal Gear Solid. A desire by publisher Eidos to market the game alongside the film, Tomb Raider: The Cradle of Life, would lead to Core Design cutting several important plot points, including how Lara survived after the 4th game, to avoid delays. A number of bugs made their way through, leading to Angel of Darkness being panned upon its release in 2003. At this point, the Tomb Raider franchise seemed in dire straits. Crystal Dynamics would assume the mantle of development and release Tomb Raider Legend in 2006. The game was a return to the classic tomb raiding elements of previous titles, while offering some interesting new innovations, like the grappling hook, and impressive visuals. Tomb Raider Anniversary would follow in 2007 as a remaster of the first game in the franchise, but despite glowing reviews, it only sold 1.3 million copies and currently holds the title of least commercially successful Tomb Raider title to date. Tomb Raider Underworld in 2008 would conclude this interesting trilogy Crystal Dynamics had fashioned for itself, but once again, it was back to the drawing board on how to make Lara Croft relevant for the current generation. A year later, Eidos would be purchased by Final Fantasy developer Square Enix, along with several of its franchises like Hitman, Legacy of Kain, and of course, Tomb Raider. This didn't mean Lara Croft's demise though. Instead, in 2010, Square Enix announced a reboot of the franchise titled simply Tomb Raider, which would explore Croft's origins and effectively focus more on survival and gritty action. Despite some controversy at E3 2012, Tomb Raider would release in 2013 and achieve great success, setting a new record as the fastest-selling game in the franchise on Xbox 360 and PS3. Within a matter of weeks, Tomb Raider had sold 3.4 million copies at retail. Square Enix, however, revealed that the game had failed to reach sales targets. Thankfully, it still greenlit a sequel following the continued success of the game throughout 2013. Lara Croft's newfound survival abilities and expertise with the bow would carry her into Rise of the Tomb Raider, which released in November 2015 for Xbox One and Xbox 360. Rise of the Tomb Raider would bring back some signature elements of the franchise, like the grappling hook, while delivering more tomes, a greater amount of open-world exploration, and increased stealth elements for missions. Though it achieved less than amazing sales in the UK initially, Rise of the Tomb Raider went on to sell 1 million copies by 2015 end. It will be releasing for PC on January 28th and for PlayStation 4 during the holiday 2016 season. Players can also look forward to the Baba Yaga Temple of the Witch DLC, releasing later this month. Tomb Raider as a franchise has seen its ups and downs, but the credibility and lasting appeal of Lara Croft has been proven time and time again. What are your thoughts on Lara Croft and the future of the franchise? Let us know in the comments, and we'll see you next time.